My name is Catie Duszynski. I'm the music director at WSBU The Buzz, and I'm joined with lead singer Adam Jode and drummer Grant Jenkins from the four-piece Southern rock group Scattered Hamlet.
He's got his pit vipers on, so you know he's serious. He's not messing around.
What inspired you guys to start making music?
Grant inspires me every day.
Yeah, we get a lot of inspiration from each other. Right now, these pit vipers are inspiring me to go write some music.
Both go with them. It like kind of takes it to the next level. They were like professional wrestlers in the 90s, which is kind of like what. But now, I guess to answer your question correctly, I'm sure it's the same with Grant. We kind of came from like musical families where, there was a lot of different people. You know, my mom was in theater. My dad listens to music. My brother's a great guitar player. My sister plays guitar. And, so when I was a wee Jode, there was just a lot of different types of music playing in our house. So it kind of got like seeped into my skull. That's what I would say.
Awesome. And how old were you when you first started playing music?
I went a weird path with it. I took, I took formal music lessons when they stuck me in some program when I kept getting in trouble in school when I was like in elementary school. And, I played some instruments there for like a week and was terrible at it and kept quitting. And, I didn't actually start playing in bands until like my sports career ended. And then I just started yelling in a punk band. And that kind of got me where we are. I think Grant's been playing longer. How about you, Grant?
Yeah, I started playing when I was like around 14 or 15. But towards the end of high school, I realized like this is something I actually want to do for a living. So that's kind of when I started taking it like more serious. Yes.
And John Bon Jovi were like sonically like going into Grant's brain. So he had no choice. Like, so
yes.
Before he even was conscious, he knew like what rock was.
So most people adopt the rock when they get older, but I was born into the rock.
Absolutely. And it probably helped with his conception and so forth. So, I'm pretty sure that should.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So how did Scattered Hamlet start? Why did you guys decide to make music together?
This project was weird. It started, we were in, I was in Los Angeles at the time, and the band kind of the projects I was working in sort of fell apart. And a producer friend of mine named Ari's from Dystrophy and OTEP. He's been in a lot of cool bands, and he basically told me, whenever I was done crying about it, to fly to his place in Iowa, and he'll show me the type of music that I probably should be playing because he'd spent a lot of time around me. And so he kind of was like, we need a bass, a band around sort of like where you come from and the stuff that he thought was unique about me. And so we made a demo of like 3 songs, and he was like, no, he's a very Spartan man. I don't know if you've ever seen him, or he's a very jacked man, and he's very serious. And he was like, no, he just handed me the demo, and he's like, now go forth and make a band. And then obviously we're waiting for Grant to come of age. And everything. And then we all just moved around and found Grant in Nashville. And, Rich was in Los Angeles at the time. There was like maybe 3 or 4 Southern influenced rock bands on the Sunset Strip at the time. And Rich was in another one of them. And we kind of just, all the band in an incestuous way, we all just kind of merged into a couple bands. Like, so it got whittled down to like 2, I think. And, or maybe 2 of us are still active. Sean just joined, and he's from Youngstown, Ohio, but, we met him in Nashville as well. So that's how we got to this present lineup and a lot of touring and switching people that, didn't fit or that just, life got in the way and stuff, so that's where we are right now.
Awesome. And then for those who have never heard your sound before, how would you describe it?
We're like, if you cross like Molly Hatchet and Skinner, basically that's what we are. We're a punk band at heart, like it's kind of like that. I always said with like a band like Motorhead, you didn't know if they were a punk band or a metal band. It just depended. Like there's people with mullets who have a lot of arguments about this very conversation. They'll be like, and skinhead punk kids, and then we'll square off and argue which one they were. And the great thing was for me, you know, is Lemmy's Lemmy, and that's kind of, I'd say we kind of sit in the same sort of universe. I think, Grant, didn't you say that after you played the first show with us, Grant? You're like, oh, we're like a punk band, basically.
Yeah. I realized after the first show, because we did all the rehearsals and everything, and that's like one energy. But then we play the show, and I'm like, oh, this is a punk band. I can do this.
Yeah, that's the same thing. And we don't usually say it because look, I've got Black Flag bars. You know, we came from punk bands and stuff. And yeah, I think we opened for Five Finger Death Punch one time, and they're and one of their stage managers or guitar techs or something, like after we were done, like, you know, he was kind of looking at us ahead of time, and he and I talked, and he was trying to figure out what we did. And then we like walked out, he goes, oh, you're like a punk band. I get it now. And I'm like, okay, all right, I'll take it. You know?
So who are your musical heroes? Where do you get a lot of your inspirations from?
Map. So I grew up listening to, my mom was like a big country music fan. She was a country singer as well. And then my dad was like really into like 80s hair metal. So like my biggest influences come from that. So probably George Jones to me is like one of my biggest influences. And then more on the rock side would probably be like, you know, probably like Led Zeppelin and stuff. I mean, you can't not acknowledge those people.
We should come out to Mama Tried, Grant. I was thinking about this. We're gonna have a band meeting, having this conversation. That should be our new intro music. I was thinking about that. I was like,
let's take a vote right now. We vote yes. We outvoted them.
Right. We outvoted somebody else. That's gonna be the intro song. We did come out. We tried to come out to Ice Cube and Dr. Dre before, and our fan base was not having that. That was the longest 4 minutes I've ever sat through in the green room. I was glad these guys were still on stage. I hang out in the green room until like the set starts, so I got to like watch through the little corner, like the audience reaction to, and there's like all these like angry biker types like are just like standing there. They were not having the natural born killers, but anyway, that was a long moment in our history, and I was very glad these guys were on stage. I was like, this is the longest that has ever transpired in our history, and but yeah, we thought it was an awesome idea. It was not, apparently, and But that's some trouble we have sometimes, because we have more diverse musical taste than like probably the average person that comes and watches our show. So, you know, like my heroes are like, Springsteen's one of my big heroes. You know, I'm a giant, you know, Clash fan. I like outlaw country, like, you know, Grant was saying. You know, my 80s pop Duran Duran stuff does not fly with our fan base. I like it a lot. And that's pretty much my so I kind of get it everywhere. I mean, recently I've really I like Mike Ness and Social Distortion a lot. Like I'm really into, I like to watch people that can do things that I don't do. Like that's inspiring to me, because I'm like, man, I can't, like Mike Ness can be like outlaw and like sing a love song and it works. Like I can't do that. Like that would be the most ridiculous. That would be like, dude, get this out of here, man. Like you'd be like, this is not gonna work, you know. And
yeah,
like,
automatic veto.
Yeah, veto. I'm out. You know, he's like, I'm not playing drums to this. You know, like if I come up with you know, sometimes we do stuff like, if you guys haven't seen, you guys should watch the videos Grant and I put out where we play along with Kenny Loggins' Danger Zone, and we crush it with Kenny Loggins, who doesn't even know he's playing with us. They're collaborating with us.
Yeah, you're welcome, Kenny Loggins.
Yeah, we really, I feel we really elevated your career, Kenny, and you know, and you should thank us and take us on tour or something. That would be cool.
Hey, awesome. So follow up with that. So what's an artist that you would dream to collaborate with?
Look, see how you segued right into that. You knew. Who's your dream, Grant?
Dream to collaborate with? Oh, yeah. Man. I was going to say Kenny Loggins, but we kind of already touched on that.
Kenny Loggins would not collaborate with us. I'm just to say right now, I feel that like he would just be like, he would watch like one of our videos and he'd be like, that's not happening. Like, I think.
No, I think we could talk him into it. The power of the Pit Vipers will bring him in. They'll
if
hypnotize him.
You look in those and saw his reflection of himself in that purple mirror looking back at him, I feel that, you know, he could do that. That would be. But the other one, the one that I want to do, I wanted Tim Armstrong from Rancid to produce a song or an album for us. That's one of the ones I want to do. Now, I've met Tim before, and he tried to steal my wife at one point, which is cool. I let that go. But, I would still like, the least you could do, Tim, is after that faux pas, is to produce one of our albums. So if he's listening to that, that'd be cool. There, Grant, why don't we combine our ideas and we'll work with Kenny Loggins and Tim Armstrong will produce it.
I'll allow that.
Collaboration. Right? Like, just say, I don't even know where to go with that. Like what would that even sound like? Like that would
I would want to hear it.
Yeah, I would want to hear it. I mean, if somebody told me,
if you're flipping through Twitter and you see Kenny Loggins and Tim Armstrong team up with Southern Rockers Scattered Hamlet, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna check this out.
Yeah, I think that would need to happen. Like, I wonder how long Kenny Loggins could tolerate me spitting in a cup in the studio, like in between, like that.
Yeah, maybe you'll bring him into the dark side. You'll get him to start chewing before the end of the sessions. That'd be pretty cool.
We almost got John Lennon's son Sean to take a chew with us backstage before, but his lady yelled at him and told him he wasn't allowed to because it was gross to spit in a cup. But he was close, like he was getting ready. Like I had the chew out, and and he was going for it, and then like she just came in and ruined it all because he'd have definitely thrown up, but that'd have been a great story. Just did there. Imagine Sean chewing dip with Adam Jode backstage at the Claypool Lennon Delirium. I just wrote a song.
All right. What is your favorite show memory?
Oh man. Looking back on it now, it's probably one of my more favorite experiences, but at the moment it wasn't. But we got to open for Kid Rock at Sturgis. And it was like total chaos right before the show. Like everything was super behind. We didn't have time to like sound check or anything. We were just throwing our gear on stage in front of like the biggest crowd we ever played in front of. No sound check or anything. I had 2 ear infections in both ears. And I was like, this show isn't going to go good at all. But we band together and pulled it off, and it was incredible.
So I'd have monitors behind me. And what else? Yeah, and my wireless wouldn't work because Kid Rock used every wireless frequency. Every one, like, which is amazing because after I saw the show, I was like, you know what? If I was Kid Rock, I would use every wireless frequency every night just because. And it's really awesome when you get out in front of all those people. Like Grant said, when it's throw and go, and I go to hit my guitar and nothing happens, and you're like, need a cable because that's what people used back in the day before there was all this electronic gadgets. And then I was like, I don't have a guitar cable. So I actually had to ask Rich to borrow a guitar cable. And then we plugged my guitar in and the rock proceeded. Like the Jumbotrons. And like, yeah. So if I like walked to a certain part of the stage, I could see myself on the Jumbotron. I'd be like looking up there. I was like, this is sweet. Like there I am. I'm on the Jumbotron. And that was pretty cool. So then you get distracted and forget where you are. But I forget our lyrics all the time and just make up new ones anyway. So it's fine.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. What's the best piece of advice you've ever gotten from another musician?
Oh, from another musician. Ari told me never give away your phone number on tour because people will call you, and he's right. don't do that. it's like some like rando dude. Hey, bro, like, can I help you with something? Yeah, man. Well, I saw you in we're down in Georgia. What's up? I don't know. Like, why are you calling me? So yeah, don't do that. That was Ari's best thing that I said. So you give them Rich's number. That's the move. Like,
yeah, that's the move.
Yeah, somebody's like, what do you do? I'd be like, oh, you should talk to Rich. He always answers his phone, and he's very helpful. And then you give him Rich's number, and then Rich has to deal with whatever happens from there. And he's more patient with things than I am. I'm not very patient at all.
No, that's not one of your strong suits.
Nah.
Most of my musician friends aren't people that I would necessarily call for advice. So, but the one piece of advice I got that has actually been helpful is when I first started touring. It was gone for like 5 or 6 days, and this guy had been touring for like years and years and years. I only brought like one pair of shoes because like it was only a couple days, and he's like, you always bring 2 pair of shoes on tour, always, no matter what. And sure enough, the next time I went out on the road, I stepped in like a giant puddle the first day, and my shoes were wet for like 3 days. So now I always bring 2 pairs of shoes.
2 pairs of shoes is good. Another good one I got, like, if you want to talk about like a famous musician giving you advice, there's 2 I can think of. John Popper from the Blues Traveler is probably one of the great harmonica player. Explained to me after I played harmonica in front of him, which was awesome because if there was one person I could pick in the world not to be at a show to play harmonica in front of, it would have been John Popper. And of course, there he is in the corner of the room while I'm a hack at this particular instrument. But people think it's awesome when you do like even the most basic harmonica. So like he already knows my game that I don't know what I'm doing. I told him that. I was like, hey, John, if I had to play harmonica in front of one person, you would have not been the person, you know? And he started laughing. He's like, hey, I can actually show you some stuff if you sit down. And I did. And he was like, I mean, this is the dude that's on the box of the harmonica I play. You know, so I was like, you might know something, you know, and he actually did. And he showed me some stuff, and I got a lot better after that. So that was pretty good. I don't know if it's career advice, but it made me a better harmonica player.
How has the pandemic impacted your band and your creative process?
Okay, it's like this. If you stand back, like in Beavis and Butthead, or in South Park, and just let someone kick you in the balls. You don't have balls, obviously. Or maybe you do. I don't know. But I'm see how woke I am? See how I worked in there. Maybe you did, and that's fine with us. So, and you just got kicked right in the balls, and then you're like, all right, cool. Now figure this out again. Like why you're kicked in the balls. And that's
there's a lot of ball kicking last year.
Yeah, so then it was like, so then you have to figure out like all new ways to do everything. Like if you're a band of our size, you know, 90% of our revenue comes from touring. So that means that you're now left with 10% of what you made the previous year. And that's a little difficult to function at, you know, like, and see, we had to come up with clever ways. So I think we increased our revenue. So it was like more like 80-20, but we're still only operating on 20% capacity, which is not, if you take a test and get a 20% on it, you're not killing it. Some of the bigger bands, like my buddies in bigger bands, that they can afford to take a year off or something to them. They're like, oh, this is sweet. I get to go coach my kids' t-ball team or whatever, because they have a lot more like, you know, back end and stuff coming in, and they deserve it. You know, and that's cool. But, you know, we're not in that position. So we kind of had to just, you know, change up how we did stuff, you know, like record stuff in the studio, do more social media stuff, you know, I made a TikTok account. That was the most painful thing I've ever done in my entire life. And I hate TikTok with like a passion. I got banned from TikTok for like 2 months. Our manager who had to get on the phone with TikTok and he got me my account back. So I am back on TikTok, and yeah, back on TikTok. But now somebody from another country was trying to buy our verified account from us, and he wasn't budging. I was like, it's going to be $100,000 and a bottle of Old Crow, and he wouldn't buy it for $100,000. He said,
yeah, that's not negotiable. That offer still stands for anyone out there listening.
The bottle of Old Crow has to be one of the bigger ones, though. I'm like, you can't just get like a little thing. It's got to be $100,000 US dollars straight sent to me, and it has to be in a handle. A handle. I'd say a glass bottle of Old Crow, but I think Old Crow mostly only comes in plastic bottles because it is like the lower tier. So, but
I have a glass bottle
of Old Crow.
Yeah.
Man, maybe they make because you're closer to the distillery. Maybe you think that's the case.
Maybe, I don't know.
I'm gonna go to the liquor store. I'm gonna find that out if we can get a glass bottle of Old Crow. I think people want to know this, and we should. Yeah,
I think we all learned something today.
Yeah, I'm glad we did this.
All right, and besides making TikToks, what other hobbies do you guys have besides just making music?
I fish a lot. I'm the Appalachian Apostle. I'm the greatest fisherman in the freshwater history. And Grant, and I can tell you more about it, but Grant does Grant and I are both jiu-jitsu guys. I'm more of an MMA, mixed martial arts person. Like I've been a sparring partner for pro fighters for a long time. I got hit in the head a lot. So now now like when I go in certain positions, the whole room spins. So apparently I'm not supposed to get hit in the head anymore. So according to the doctor, but yeah, so we do that too. And Grant does that. So like we talk, he and I watch a lot of like, combat sports and stuff because we're dumb and we like that kind of thing. I don't know what else you Great, you have chickens too.
Yeah, I have chickens. I wouldn't necessarily consider them a hobby, just a source of eggs, but I do own chickens.
They're named after daytime talk show hosts of the 90s.
Yeah. Yep. I have Oprah, Ricky Lake, Kathy Lee Gifford, Montel. One of them's named Montel, even though she's a lady. Because, like you said, we're woke and they can be named whatever they want. A couple of them more running around. I forget their names.
You had Rosie O'Donnell too. I don't like her.
Yeah, I have Rosie O'Donnell. Yeah.
I don't like Rosie. She's trying to take my guns.
Yeah. She's my only chicken that's a little deformed. She doesn't have a neck and her head's on sideways. So she can only turn to the right. So she just kind of walks in circles, in like right circles.
Rosie O'Donnell never turns to the right. She's all the way on the lefty world. See, I just inserted some medical stuff. No, yeah, she tried to take my guns. So Grant's chicken was trying to disarm me last time I was there, and I was like, I'm on the Constitution, chicken. I'm not gonna bow down to your dogma. You don't even know how to respond.
Right. And so what can we expect from you guys in the future? I know you guys have an album coming. Anything else? Anything we should be on the lookout for?
Next Friday, we're releasing our first single off the new album. It's called Stereo Overthrow, off the album Stereo Overthrow. See what we did there? And we have a video for it, which is gonna be the first video when it comes out. And when the full album's released in November, we have a second video that will also be released. And I'm very excited about. I'm excited about both videos being released. I'm very excited about the second video being released. And not to give too much away, but we may or may not race Power Wheels vehicles that are painted up like famous vehicles from the 1980s. But we had a very. It was a very, how do you say it? It was a very rigorous race that we had to get to the bragging rights to win this trophy at the end of the video that was very coveted in these parts. Like it's the Appalachian Power Wheels trophy, and a lot of people are gunning for it and the bragging rights. I mean, around here, there's probably nothing bigger except maybe winning the demolition derby. And had we had more of a budget for a video, again, the COVID kick in the balls, we may have been in the demolition derby. So
next year,
I wouldn't be surprised if we had a video in demolition derby, and probably one that has to do with professional wrestling. We're working on that one. Devastating professional wrestling move is called the Bucktown elbow. And if you see my elbow, it says Bucktown on it. So I have this harnessed, and there's only 30 people who know what this means. But among these 30 people, I'm like a legend. West side of town from where I live, the west side. They would be like the NWA of Greene County.
Alrighty.
Are you an NWA fan?
No, I can't say that I am.
Fair enough. It's an acquired taste.
Right. Well, those are all the questions that I had. So thank you so much for your time.